Hi, in this video, I'll be talking about the movie Suki, which you can watch on Prime Video. So this movie is quite interesting. It is a film about retribution. It follows the story of this guy Suki. So his dad was a very known boxer. He trains people to box. Then his dad got killed by some very bad guys just because the father didn't do what these people wanted him to do. And it just felt like this Suki from a very tender age just kept getting into unfortunate situations. So after the death of his father, he starts living with this man and his wife. Then they get killed, then he ends up in prison, getting to live as a prisoner in Aja for a crime he did not commit, trying to get a chance at freedom and this Dembe competition that is being held in prison, and also has this compelling storyline because you're just curious see how everything would play out for Suki, whether this guy would actually win, whether this guy would come out smiling, whether the story would end in his favor. It's just like a really really sad movie actually, because when you first start watching it and from one sad incident to the next sad incident, you're like the movie just keeps getting sadder and sadder. There's no like happy moment, there's no moment of relief in the movie. That is like the gist of the movie, how this young boy Suki goes on a quest for revenge, trying to fight to survive, and how resilient he was through it all. Now the movie was directed by Ola Cardoso and also produced by him. The movie was also produced by Bamidele Adolusi. So for the actors in this movie, so we have the character Adigun, who is played by Tobi Bakre. So he was the father of this Suki, who the movie is centered on. So his character was one that was like a very well-known boxer. He teaches people how to fight, and we like it was known that he was really good, but it got to a point where he just kept losing fights because of he was being paid to lose fights, which was not something his son could understand. And him trying to make his son proud and trying to let his son know that you don't have to succumb to the situation that you're in. You don't have to go against your will to do certain things. He was trying to pass a very important message to his son, which led to his death. But Toby did a very good job, like with his action scenes, the fight scenes. And we of course know Toby Bakre is a talented actor. Then we get to see the character Suki, who was played by James Damilare. So this is actually my first time seeing this guy in a movie, and he did so well. He had so much pain, so much anguish in his character. Like you're just like, let things just look up for this guy at least. He was just going through a lot right from when he was small. So the young Suki did exceptionally well. That guy is such a talented actor. He was played by Abolade Ajibade. So this guy was somebody that was very interested in boxing, trying to start boxing like his father, and he would skip school to come and watch the father box. He had a very sharp mouth on him. The young actor played a really good role, which I guess the older Suki just bounced off on, and from being framed for the death of the people he was living with, now coming to live in the prison where it seemed like all hope was lost. So now having this glimmer of hope that if he fights, if he gets to win this fight, he will be freed. But that was not the case. The guy's sole aim was just to get revenge, just to avenge the death of his father, which he was able to, thankfully. Then of course get to see Dr. Simi, who was played by Bimbo Ademoye. So she was the only doctor in the prison. I don't know why, but she was one that had to, take care of the prisoners. Her character was okay. We know she's a very good actor, but I didn't really see the essence of her character in this movie. It didn't seem that important. And she also had this thing where she couldn't leave the prison. She was more or less like a prisoner as well as the other prisoner. So she wasn't able to leave the prison because the marshal of the prison had an interest in her. But she and Suki sort of had this connection, friendship, understanding sort of thing. We get to see the character Masha, who was played by Ola Akunle. This man was so annoying. He was like the guy that was running things in the prison. He was in charge of everything prison matters. And he was very ruthless, very mean, and more or less felt like the god, master and omega of the prison. So he would kill prisoners at will. This man really did justice to his role, and it just shows how underlings tend to think they are top gods when they are being given very little power. They think they can do and undo compared to the big dogs, the people he was working for, who had no regard for him. Then of course get to see the character Sledgehammer, who was played by Philip Asaya. This man is known for being like a villain in a movie, being the bad guy in a movie, and he did that in this movie. So of course he was the nemesis of Suki, the one who had, brought so much pain into Suki's life, and Suki was just hell bent on seeking revenge. And Philip did such a good job. You could see also he was more like an errand boy for the orgas, for the politicians, the big men, and he didn't really have a say in what he was doing. He was the hunt dog that would send him to, go do this and do that, and he would do it. So we get to see Ijaya, who was played by Ibrahim Yekini. To me, his character seemed like a prisoner that had seen everything in the prison. So nothing new surprised him, and he seemed like also maybe one of the oldest prisoners because there was no emotion in his character, and it just seemed like every normal day for him in the prison. But he was somebody that took Suki under his wings and mentored him into becoming a very good boxer. Then you of course get to see Buma in this movie. So he played Igimu. So he was this fierce, fighter in the prison that everybody was afraid of. Nobody challenges him till he met his match in Suki. Then of course we get to see Senator, who was played by Femi Adebayo. So he was the one that was, I guess, running things. He was a corrupt and greedy senator that had, his boys in place to implement things for him, and was more like the mastermind, the Oga at the top, sitting at the top of everything that was going on. We of course get to see Babanla, who was also another, should I say, instructor or boxer mentor in the prison. Standout performances, of course, for me would have to be Suki's character, both the young version and the grown version of him. Like his character brought so much raw emotions, brought so much, resilience, anguish. Some of the themes you can pick up on in the movie would, of course, be the theme of corruption and greed. And of course, get to see the theme of revenge, which is what was like a prevalent theme in the movie. That was like Suki's driving force. The fact that he was going to be able to avenge the death of his father, it just kept pushing him to survive. It just kept pushing him. Just had this hunger in him for revenge. And of course, the theme of resilience, which is seen in Suki's character throughout the movie. I really enjoyed the theme, the boxing theme, like the fight sequences were executed perfectly. And it's very interesting seeing a Nigerian movie take such an approach in storytelling. The movie was quite dark, of course. The cinematography and the edits of the movie was quite dark, but I enjoyed watching the movie, an action drama movie, and it just also shows how a lot of people are being framed for crimes that they did not commit. How innocent people are thrown into prison, and the whole power play. Because the fight scenes were very brutal. It seemed like a lot of effort, a lot of thoughts, a lot of practice went into the action scenes in this movie. But yes, that is just it for the movie. I enjoyed watching it. I got to see like a new actor that I will be looking forward to seeing in more movie, who is James Damilare. Like I think there's much more to expect from this guy. But there are some things in the movie that just did not add up for me. For one would be the whole thing with Dr. Simi. So make it make sense, like how is it possible that this lady Simi was taken away from her family for only God knows how many years, and nobody was looking for her? Like it was just very weird that she was in this prison all this. There was no like backstory as to why she's there and how she came about being there. It was just like done very wishy-washy. And considering how such a very big actor was put in that role, I expected so much context in regards to her character. And also with the way the movie ended, really and truly did Suki get the justice he deserved? Did he get, although he was able to avenge his father's death, but he was still, locked up. And also with the whole Senator Marshall and his boys meeting at the church, like what was that for? Like why did you always have to meet at the church? There was no other place for them to meet. And it was just the way Adigun was killed in this movie was just very annoying. So I'm like, okay, is it because he just won this one fight? These people just killed him like there was no reason to him being alive, or there was no regard for his life. And even the way it was done in the presence of his son, it was just really annoying. And I'm like, okay, what exactly is the backstory here? why does Adigo keep losing fights and keeps getting paid by these people? They should have given us more context into that. Let's also understand what was going on there. Also, the part where Dr. Simi kept acting like, what Suki was doing was wrong, when really and truly he was doing everything and anything to survive. She was making him feel like he's the bad guy, like, oh, he has joined the bad gang kind of thing. And she was being a bit judgy. It's just nice that there was no room for love, there was no room for, romantic connection in this movie, because I guess that would have distracted this guy from focusing on what he needed to focus on. So have you seen the movie Suki on Prime Video? If you've watched it, do share your thoughts down in the comment section. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. Like if you enjoyed this video, check out my other videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.